I'm here at the Daily Beast Hero Summit, which gathers military leaders, politicians, and journalists together to talk about the role of the U.S. military in a rapidly changing world. This conference arrives just as the 12th anniversary of the Afghanistan war comes and goes this week, with troops still on the ground there, plus news of new raids in Africa as part of the global war on terrorism. So the question is, where has more than a decade of military intervention around the world left us? Well, for one, with a destabilized Africa and Middle East. Senator John McCain talked about the troubles in Libya and Syria, two countries that our military have either directly or indirectly influenced in recent years. First in Libya, where their prime minister was recently kidnapped and then released by militants.
What we did, hands off, leading from behind, and now we see this situation in a crisis, and these militias, as you say, leadership that is not as strong as we would hope. And the situation is going to, I'm afraid, be chaotic for some time.
Then to Syria, where the United States has been funneling weapons to the rebels in their fight against the Assad government. There, too, McCain was pessimistic.
I can't tell you how demoralized the Free Syrian Army are, and that's why some of them are now moving over into the radical Islamic camp, because they think that they have been abandoned.
So despite years of U.S. military intervention in the region, more fires are burning today than in the years before this global war began. The same is true of the threat of terrorism itself. Former NSA Chief Michael Hayden joined other national security experts to talk about al-Qaeda's growing strength since the U.S. war on terror began.
Al-Qaeda controlling more territory and having more adherents today than they have at any time in their history. And I actually think that's true. Doesn't mean we're less safe than we were 10, 11, 12 years ago. It doesn't mean we haven't been very successful.
The recent attack on the shopping mall in Nairobi was fresh on everyone's mind. And former member of the House Intelligence Committee and now president of the Wilson Center, Jane Harman, talked about similar threats coming to the United States.
And this is an evolving threat, and they attack asymmetrically. They have to be right once. We have to be right, whoever we is, whether we is Kenya or the U.S. or France or Britain, we have to be right 100% of the time to block them. That's impossible. And anyone who says there is 100% security is absolutely wrong.
But there was some acknowledgement that the United States military should tread lightly when confronting this new breed of terrorism coming from Africa. A new strategy could involve using non-military tools.
And if we don't figure out a way, using our face or the face of others, to provide economic aid and help improve education, as in not good education or no education, especially for girls, we're never going to get out of this soup.
And so despite the warm embrace of U.S. militarism at conferences like these, it's pretty well recognized that there are still a lot of problems existing all around the world. And one has to wonder if it's the U.S. military that's making them worse. In Washington, Sam Sachs, RT.